PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds has taken the gaming world by storm in 2017, being the top played game on both Steam and Twitch, yet it's an early access game, but one that has been doing it the right way by constantly updating the game, adding new features, and fixing prevalent issues. If you compare the footage from when the game first came out back in March to what it looks like now, you can see how drastic the improvements have been. It's like a before and after from Pimp My Ride. Now that the game is finally on the VCR, I mean Xbox One with patch 1.0, I decided to review this build of the game since so many things were in flux before. That's something that I would have complained about in a video might have been fixed by the next week, and of course something else would have been broken in the whack-a-mole situation that is patching games. Full disclaimer, I haven't played the game on the Xbox One as there's no reason for me to go to a controller trying to figure out the inventory management system without aim assist and an unstable 30 FPS when my PC can run the game between 60 and 70 FPS when I'm streaming and even higher than 90 when I'm not sucking up the system resources to record it. It's also the reason why I don't have an Xbox One X. My current PC build is better, thanks for asking. The Xbox version is going to be a work in progress, but given the $30 price point and the release being in the preview program, along with the track record of the dev team actually making frequent updates, it's not as if you're sinking a ton of money into a game that has supposedly gone gold, yet breaks with every patch. Call of Duty World War II. Anyways, let's talk about why PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is the best Battle Royale game. For me, there are three elements to a Battle Royale game: engagements or gunfights, inventory management, and looting. This is the only game that nails all three when compared to other games like Fortnite or H1Z1. Most of the time, you won't be in gunfights. It's the Hunger Games portion of the show, so you'll be instead looting and trying to figure out what the best setup is for your character. The way it's done on PC is intuitive and keeps like items and groupings together while being able to seamlessly put things into active slots so you could use them in a panic hurry. This drag and drop system is kind of lost on the console version as it turns into a Fortnite-esque game of pickup sticks, but at least you have the grouping and ways to easily add attachments that other games don't. However, when looting a dead body on console, you're going to have to clumsily scroll down the gear your dead enemy has, which obscures your vision in the inventory menu, and this is actually where Fortnite is better for console players in that it scatters the items around to pick up individually instead of a grocery list, which is better for the PC drag and drop. It also might not be as bad for someone else as I've been conditioned to drag and drop instead of hitting a button to pick up items due to the fact that in a previous build of the game there was no animation for the drag and drop way, so therefore there was an advantage to doing it that way, which has now been rectified, but I'm so used to it that going back to the individual pickup way is going to take some time for me. So in other words, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Not that I'm that old. Okay, it is my 34th birthday today, so you could be the judge as to whether or not I'm old. Anyways, as Biggie would say, give me the loot, give me the loot. Looting is a huge part of Battle Royale games, and the way that it's done in PUBG is the best implementation I've seen. With so many different choices for weapons, you'll almost never have two rounds that are exactly the same in terms of what you're going to be using when you go into battle. There's so many times where you have one of those games that you don't find the weapon that you really want and are forced to make do with a similar gun, and after adding on additional beepity bops, it can actually perform better than if you just found the stock version of the gun that you want. On top of the variety, there's also various upgrades to each weapon in the form of attachments that will keep you looking around in areas so that you can make yourself even more deadly when you get into engagements. This is where other Battle Royale games struggle, as H1Z1 has a minimal variety of weapons, and while Fortnite has different rarities to sniff out, it doesn't have the customizable angle of adding attachments like scopes, grips, and mags to entice you in order to keep looting instead of running for the circle since there's no vehicles. Speaking of which, there's also a good variety of vehicles in this game with all different types of characteristics that can be used in different situations, like a motorbike if you gotta go fast and are cool with the fact that it might flip on you at any time, or a UAZ that's slower but heavily armored, so if you know that you're going across the bridge on Military Island past some trolls that have a firing squad at the ready, this is the vehicle you want. The last element is engagements, and this is the only part of the game where it's not really perfect. Gunfights in this game feel more like Battlefield than Call of Duty, if that makes any sense, where the recoil matters and you need to be in a good position rather than just having plain better skill. Most of the time you'll be at a fairly decent range, so assault rifles and snipers are more valuable than shotties and SMGs, but if you're in a city with a ton of buildings, you'd rather take the latter instead of the former. Almost all of the time I find myself on single fire mode for the assault rifles because the recoil with fully auto just wreaks havoc on your aim, which we all know for me is shit anyways, and this will be especially true on the Xbox version where there is no semblance of aim assistance anywhere to be found. Gunfights in this game are much more oriented on positioning and shot locations, position, so be sure to aim at the head and upper torso to deal more damage, as you'll probably end up cat and mousing for a lot of gunfights, where you'll lean out, pop off some shots, take some meds behind cover when the time needs, as it's more of a game of attrition versus aiming skill. The game also does a great job of forcing engagements by doing things like having a crate with significantly better guns and items than you'll find in the world drop once per circle position and sometimes twice, so that there will be a fight over who walks away with the crate items, forcing people into one area together, and the bombing zone, which is usually on a large concentration of players that will do damage directly or force people to stay inside, thus leaving them with less time actively looting. So once the bombing zone is picked, it's probably best if you get the fuck out of Dodge, which means more people are out and about running into one another. Where this game struggles though is with close range engagements and server issues. The last time the game was tested by Battlegrounds, link in the description to his video if you want more information about it. This was back when the game was running on Amazon servers and not the current Microsoft Azure servers, so your mileage may vary. However, the results weren't pretty, with a paltry 17 Hz stick rate, including single digit numbers when the match is starting, which is one of the main points in a game where engagements are happening, as multiple people drop at the same locations for those gun rush type moments. This means that CQC combat, where every frame matters, suffers, as you can see here. What the fuck? I had a fucking Tommy gun! Fortnite isn't really much better with 18 Hz, especially since the game runs at 60 versus 30 for PUBG on console, but that game is much more arcadey versus how realistic PUBG is with its gun mechanics, which is actually something I prefer, being more arcadey, although PUBG does do a great job with gunplay, which again points to the Call of Duty versus Battlefield comparison I mentioned earlier. The lack of aim assist in the current build for console also makes gunfights a bit interesting, is the nicest way I'll put it. Just look at this clip here from Jack Frags' video.
There he is. Kill number 2. Now, he was stuck looting. I think there's going to be a lot of kills on Xbox where people are just looting like that. Oh, there's another guy. That's the most potato aim that you'll ever see, but I'll tell you, the frame rate dropped significantly there.
It's more understandable why they chose that design decision, given how they want the game to play more like a simulator versus a twitchy arcade shooter, but even a small bit of aim assistance will go a long way to make the game play better than it looks like it does, which is a circle jerk session gone wrong. The only other major issue I have for the game, which isn't really applicable to the console version, is the hacking situation. Now that kill cams have been implemented, it's going to be easier to catch these cheaters. However, it's still an issue given the low barrier to entry that is the price of the game, when cheaters eventually do get banned and then have to rebuy the game for cheap on shady websites like G2A, #shameless plug. Use my affiliate link in the description for Green Man Gaming for cheaper games without the shadiness of a back alley drug deal. There was a time during a 2-month or so period where the cheating was out of hand, but now kill cams combined with Battle Eye to track down cheats, it's a much more rarer occurrence. Playing out of region is much more common, which is something that's hard to stop, except if you're an Oceania player on console, because there aren't any servers there, but there are on PC. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is the only game that I play that gives me feelings of intensity when you're down to the top 10 in that single life and you're out type of game mode. Can I shoot this guy?
Nope, no, he's dead.
I gotta
shoot that fucker. Yeah, shoot that.
Yes! Yes! Fuck yes! Jump scares when you run into people that you don't know are there and don't expect. Holy fuck, there's a guy in this back room! What the fuck are you doing there? And on the flip side, the opportunity for stealth-based gameplay, along with the voyeurism of watching other players go at it to seize your opportunity when they are the most vulnerable. Oh my god. This kid keeps standing still.
Brian!
I want to shoot at him so fucking bad, dude. You have no idea. You see him just standing there?
He's just standing there.
He's just fucking standing there, dude.
He's just right there on the rock.
He is fucking... Dude, if I had a sniper rifle, he'd be dead by now. Just like it says in the trailer, if you're not first, you're last. So that fuels the addictive nature of always trying to catch that carrot, since there's only one player or team that will win each round. And when you do finally eat your chicken dinner, it's so tasty that you're going to want to go back for another helping. This lends really well to replayability, as you could change up your play styles to go for the W and play more conservatively, or jump out at a big city and go for those intense gun rush moments to try and slay your way out. I played over 360 hours of this game since it launched back in March, and I haven't clocked this kind of time into a game since probably Battlefield 4 when it launched on the Xbox One, and that is my favorite FPS game of all time. That tells you all you need to know about what I think of the game. This is the best Battle Royale game on the market, and with a few console-specific tweaks, it won't be as big of a dumpster fire to play compared with the only other Battle Royale game available on consoles in Fortnite. As it continues to go through the preview process, hopefully optimizations will help get the game to a better state, and based on past history with incrementally making the PC build better, the developers are at least committed to making updates towards that goal. If you've got a PC and haven't picked up this game yet, what the fuck are you waiting for? Okay, fine, Steam's winter sale is probably a good idea just to see if the price drops, but I'd pick it up right now if I were you. I've been the Schwantz27, making like a banana and splitting. Until next time.
It's just him left. That's it. Anybody got a nade?
Nah, I used mine already.
Okay.
Got him! Yes!
Yes! Damn. Nice
High
shot,
five,
Brian.
Headshot!
Brian, internet high five.